Hello and welcome to the Lost Art Podcast. I'm Paul and I'm here with...
That would be me.
Scar.
Gar.
Today's little episode is about criminally underrated artists, according to us, super subjective and divisive term. These lists normally online make my blood fucking boil. They'll have people like Bon Jovi. Underrated. Why? No, maybe not Bon Jovi, but you know what I mean. You read these lists. Overrated and underrated are two of the most annoying lists to read. So we decided to do one.
Absolutely. Well,
however, our one is really good.
Yeah, this is a solid little list. The problem with people saying underrated is, I always found, is that when people find out that you don't like a band they like as much as they like them, and once they experience that a couple of times, they assume that this band is underrated.
Yeah, so there's also so many different ways you can look at it, critically, commercially, and another one there's also different ways to be underrated. For instance, you wouldn't consider the band Toto to be underrated because what do you mean by that? But if you look into it, they're super underrated in terms of musicianship and talent. Yeah. Like, they're way ahead of so many bands. They could play anything. And they played, like, I know I've mentioned this before, but they played on the Thriller album and stuff like that. They absolutely are super underrated. But this is more exposure underrated, I think. Or else they don't make lists of best ofs.
Yeah, they're just not brought up in conversation all that often. They're kind of half forgotten about a little bit.
Semi-forgotten, yeah. This is basically, this is my favourite playlist we've done to listen to straight through, to be honest with you. And the people going looking at some of this list going, they're not mad, they're not underrated or whatever to that. But
well, maybe you're just more into them than the average Joe. This is aimed at people that listen. This whole thing here, this entire exercise in doing this podcast, is not for us to be the high and mighty fucking Skeksis.
Speak for yourself.
We're not trying to be the fucking gatekeepers of new music.
But we're just trying to spark conversation.
Yeah, if we get people listening to some new stuff, and we're learning about new stuff all the time as well. So everybody's winning. When we were building this list for the underrated bands, I was going through my own kind of concepts, like you were just talking about why would they be considered underrated? Yeah. Like you said, is it musically? Is it a popularity contest? Is it just people don't talk about it? Or is it one of these things that, everybody just, every now and again there's a band or a group where you personally catch on to and you get mad into that group and it just washes by all your mates.
Yeah, this can also tie into the misunderstood playlist a little bit. There's certain elements that I find are underrated about these bands. They may be, a couple of them are quite commercially, do quite well actually. So anyway, without further ado, give me your first underrated artist.
My first one is going to sound like an absolute wanker's choice, and my first one is Oscar Peterson. He was a jazz pianist. He died in 2007. He was born in 1925.
Fucking horror. That makes him 89?
He was, I think, 88-ish.
I checked that out earlier. I didn't do that math. Are you mad?
Yeah, he's old as dirt.
Those people going, he can't even count. How did he do that?
He was old as dirt. He was Canadian. And I was never mad into jazz. Jazz is very confusing if you're not brought up with it.
Confusing. Skibbity-boo, skibbity-boo,
yeah.
Skibbity-boo.
Yeah, I wasn't really brought up in a musical household, really. So I never had I was never, there was, my dad had tapes and records and all, but they were all the same garbage everybody was listening to,
That's cool.
Not even, it was like Frankie Goes to Hollywood and Queen and the usual kind of poppy rocky stuff of the kind of 80s.
I got late 70s kind of folk and early 80s pop.
Yeah.
Which is not a bad mix.
Yeah, it's not a bad mix. But there was nothing like this in my household, in anybody in my family.
Oh, yeah, me neither, no. There's never going to be jazz.
Jazz was just not, that's posh people music,
It is.
It's extraordinarily poor from some shack outside a fucking swamp, or you're mad rich and you go to these clubs. But a couple of years ago, I was in the States and I went to a jazz club. It was just kind of by accident. Went into this little, it was like an old, it was in Detroit, and apparently what it was like an old speakeasy, and it had been boarded up, and in the year 2000 or something like that, the building that the speakeasy was hidden in was being renovated. And the builders knocked down a wall and found this fucking speakeasy behind the wall. And everything was still in there. There was a little stage. There was all these red drapey curtains. It was like proper kind of gangster fucking hideout type of place. So they renovated it and they gave it another lease of life and turned it back into a jazz club. So I randomly ended up in here one night and there was a little jazz 3-piece in the corner, just double bass, piano and a drummer. And sat there just drinking fucking whiskey and pints. And I had a wonderful evening. And because of that, because I had spent the night being surrounded by it, I then wanted to go and learn a little bit more about jazz. Now, there was a pal of mine at the time who gave me this CD, this Oscar Peterson CD. And he said, listen, I listen to a lot of jazz, but like this is the one that, this is kind of like, it's not necessarily approachable, but it's, you're not going to get in trouble knowing fuck all about this dude, because he's not super popular. Now, in hindsight, looking at the amount of awards that he's won...
I was about to say, in the jazz scene, he probably is.
Yeah, exactly.
So like, realistically, you're talking about jazz being underrated.
The whole deal with Oscar Peterson to me is that he never reached the household name level.
Yeah, no, that's fair. Yeah.
Like, if you look at whatever, Louis Armstrong and Dizzy Gillespie and so on and so far, like, you'll never hear anybody talking about
it's
Oscar
also
Peterson.
From our perspective sometimes.
Absolutely.
Well. So, come on, you know.
Absolutely. If you grew up in a household, like I said, that appreciated this music, definitely... I'd say somebody talked about Oscar Peterson. But I remember listening to the CD and it was very interesting and I liked it. But what I liked mostly about it was that Oscar used to do this thing when he played piano where he'd like make mad just kind of Scooby-Doo noises to keep himself in time. So in the background, like the microphone was obviously kind of in the body of the piano while he played. He's a very famous pianist. I think they called him like the Maharaja of the keys or something like that. They gave him a load of these names. But you could hear the microphone picking him up going, it sounded like fucking like Sasquatch talking, like, you know what I mean? And it was just him
expressions.
Yeah, but that's what it was. It was him trying to keep time and him kind of filling in like the harmonies and the melodies while he cut in and out. Yeah. And he's done covers of fucking Beatles songs during his day. He's done a load of this stuff. But the Oscar Peterson trio stuff is very good. That's where it starts getting really interesting. We had a nice little set band. The song I picked is called Swamp Fire. It's just a cool little piece.
Yeah, I liked it.
Like it's not super advanced, you know what I mean? And it's not stupid either. Apparently, I was reading about him. He started playing trumpet when he was a kid, but he had tuberculosis, so he had to stop.
Jesus.
So we started playing piano.
You need to not have tuberculosis.
You pretty much need to not have TB if you're going to play wind instruments.
Can't play tuberculosis.
Exactly. Yeah. But he suffered from arthritis since he was a kid as well. So the last couple of years of his life, he could really only use one hand to play piano. And all his peers are like, well, him with one hand is better than most people with two. Jesus, that's how fucking bananas good he was. Yeah. He died of kidney failure in his home in Ontario in 2007. But out of all the jazz guys that I've ever listened to, I don't know, he might not be better than them, but he kind of my guy because he was my little entry into it. You know, the first metal band you ever heard from Metallica, they're probably going to say that they're your favourite metal band of all time, you know what I mean? So Oscar was always he was my go-to guy, but he's my first pick for criminally underrated.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Right, what is your?
My one is Oingo Boingo, Just Another Day from 1985.
Oh, listen, this is mental.
So good. It's actually one of their least mental songs.
For real?
It's actually quite
it's so
commercial.
Good, so good.
It's so very good. It's such a good song. It's my favourite song by them, I think. This is from the, if you know Oingo Boingo, the well-known Dead Man's Party album. Dead Man's Party is their biggest album, I'd say, probably. It's also Danny Elfman's band, if you didn't know that.
Really? I did not know that.
You didn't know that?
I didn't know that. I don't know anything about this band.
This is Danny Elfman.
I've heard the name, but I've never ever listened to them.
Yeah, so this is Danny Elfman's band before he was composing.
Really?
Yeah.
Fucking hell.
And he has one of the best voices. My favourite, I won't say best. He's got one of my favourite voices. It's shockingly good. Like, the notes he can hit so high and so low. And
how are the songs not all the same?
Well, this is what happens if I getting paid mad money by one guy to do one style.
Yeah.
Which was ultimately the breakup of Oingo Boingo, to be honest with you. Yeah. See, what happened was, right, so Oingo Boingo get asked to do Weird Science by, is it John Landis? So I think that was their first time they were asked to do a song for a movie. And then that just gets you hooked into it. Weird Science, I don't even really particularly like that song. They don't like that song, really. It doesn't really...
It's not exemplary of them.
Not really, no. Sorry, it's John Hughes, not John Landis. It's weird because Oingo Boingo have a bit of ska in there, and you know how much I just realised that we give reggae an awful time. It's not really reggae we hate; it's ska, really.
It's all of it. It's all of it. I'm calling it. It's all bollocks.
But ska to me hurts me more than reggae, so I should give. I'm going to give reggae a little break, and give ska a little bit of a dig in the face there. So.
I hate it so much.
You hate ska?
Ska and reggae.
I fucking hate it. At least reggae stays away from the fucking fast trumpets.
Yeah, it's all shy.
It is. Well, at least we got it in there. So anyway,
digs in reggae.
They're a super influential band. I think. Now it's hard because they were lured by. They did so many soundtracks. They put so many songs to soundtracks until finally Tim Burton said to him, Tim Burton's first film, Pee Wee Herman. He goes, "Can you do me some songs for this?" And he kind of said, "Actually, I'd rather stop doing songs. I want to do orchestral bits with a thing." And that's where Danny Elfman was sort of born from that. And as well as that, it's also the sort of start of the end of Oingo Boingo. When he starts getting paid mad money and getting his name out there like that and stuff like that. He still was doing Oingo Boingo stuff, but they're waiting around on him.
Yeah.
And then I think when Nightmare Before Christmas came out, that's literally, you're not getting near Danny Elfman then. I think they released one Oingo Boingo album.
You know, I've never seen that film.
Have you not?
I'm never going to
either. Really good. I know what people are like about it, but it's very good.
I can't watch
for a musical.
I can't watch any of them. Whatever his name is, the director.
Martin?
Yeah, I can't watch his films anymore. Done.
That's fair. So, that was sort of like, to be perfectly honest, that was the end of Oingo Boingo. Really, they have some absolutely fantastic songs like "Dead Man's Party," "Gratitude," which is actually Danny Elfman's solo stuff that he put back into there. They have a song called "Little Girls," which is creepy as fuck. The video's creepy as fuck. This song called "I Like Little Girls," and it's real ropey, but it's because it's done kind of weird and funny. You couldn't let it go. That's all right. And then No Spilled Blood. Irish band called No Spilled Blood. Actually, maybe they take their name from that. They broke up. All the members, apart from one, kind of worked with him. And if you need a guitar, he'll get one of his mates in to do it for him, except Warren Fitzgerald, who joined the Vandals.
Joined the Vandals?
Yep.
Mad. Joined
the Vandals and then Tenacious D.
Mad.
So Oingo Boingo, if you're not really listening to them and you didn't know it was Danny Elfman, first of all, check out his voice. Absolutely incredible voice. And if you're fans of fucking, I don't know, Devo, Mr. Bungle, Primus, which you are definitely not.
No.
I
don't hate Primus. I hate Mr. Bungle. I can't do it.
So Oingo Boingo for me to be underrated. I have to say underrated.
Most certainly. Like I said, I knew the name and I might have heard bits and pieces, but I never went down that rabbit hole at all.
So that was my first one. What's your second one?
Tricky, Black Steel.
Oh, so good.
It's bananas.
So
bananas.
good.
But you never. The reason I picked them, loads of people know the name Tricky.
Yeah, in my head, I'm like, really? Is it?
Yeah, but who the fuck ever talks about Tricky?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
In the grand scheme of like the Bristol, like Massive Attack, and like even the other side of things, with Fatboy Slim, that thing. Yeah, Tricky kind of stopped or something.
He just disappeared. Like he put out a shit ton of albums, and he still does bits and pieces. But like,
and I listened to a lot of them, and they are good. So in that terms, he kind of is underrated because they didn't really keep it up.
But the first album. This is out the first album called Max and Quay.
Great album,
and it's just start to finish is just super. This song in particular is just so fucking grim, but like layered and beautiful, like.
And weirdly upbeat.
Yeah.
I mean, get that mix together of upbeat. It kind of reminds me of sometimes what Death in Vegas do.
Yeah.
Upbeat but grim and dark stuff.
Got fucking dance music, like.
It's like you made a happy song, but you went into like Logic or whatever and turned all the instruments to the horrible dark shit.
So like Tricky would have been very much a pioneer of the trip hop scene, and he would have got all that. He was originally a member of Massive Attack, and before Massive Attack got real big, he was on their first album, on Blue Lions.
That's right.
And then he kind of fucked off. And I think there was a little bit of bad blood. There was a little bit of bad blood there.
Blood.
blood. There was a little bit of that, and but eventually I think they got over it, and they've done a few little bits and pieces ever since. But he started off Massive Attack, and before he launched that solo career with the album that has this song Black Steel in it. Over the years, he worked with everyone, Terry Hall from the Specials, Bjork. He's actually in a relationship with Bjork. He done some stuff with Gravediggers, who was RZA from the Wu-Tang band, his kind of horrorcore fucking band. Grace Jones and PJ Harvey. He has I can't read that. He lives in Berlin.
I can't read my notes.
It says here, has 14 breast Susans. That's
best top singles?
No idea. It could be. It says breast Susans here. But it could be 14 best somethings. But But yeah, he.
We'll let you know when Gar figures out what he wrote down.
Yeah, I was doing it on the fly. But he's 14 Breast Susans, and he lives in Berlin at the moment. But the album, what's weird.